Hey guys, this is Z Mangaka, and this will be my first video, and I'll just be showing you what kind of tools I have to make manga, and what tools you'll need to make manga as well. So I'll be showing you what I have so far. Now, the most basic thing any mangaka can have, or actually needs, is the G pen, and without the G pen you can't ink manga. And there's many different types of pens, but this is like the most, you need this. This is like the staple of all inking pens. So it's called the G pen, and this right here is my holder. It's an AP brand. I got this from a manga course I took in Taiwan. It's not that good, but it's not that bad either. I mean, like, I can use it. I mean, I can deal with it. It's not that bad. It's kind of small, but yeah. So it's made out of wood. But basically, the pen that you dip into the ink is this thing, the nib. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but like, yeah, you can't see it. But there's a G on the pen nib, and yeah, it's what you use to dip into the ink. And basically what you do is you connect these together, because there's like little rings in here, and you basically, what you do is take this and you take this and put it in one of the rings, and it will fit in there and connect like that. So when you're drawing, you can use it like that. Alright. Now, like I said before, the G pen isn't the only nib pen that you'll be needing to ink manga. The other ones are the Commodore Pen, the Commodore Pen, and the school pen. So, you know what the G pen looks like. I'll show you what the Commodore Pen looks like. Now, the Commodore Pen is also known as side G pen, I think, and or a spoon pen, or spoon tip pen. And it's called that because, as you can see, obviously it has a spoon shape. Yeah, and it has a very sharp pointed edge, so as you can see. So if I put it in the pen holder, it'll look like this. Hard to do it in front of the camera. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's gonna look like this. I think it's good for backgrounds and thinner lines, and it gives off a smoother, straighter line, unlike the G pen, which you need like more concentration, or it's harder to draw a completely straight line with a G pen. But the good thing with the G pen is that it gives off a variation of different lines. So, like if you press harder on the G pen, this applies to all nib pens, but if you press harder, you get a thicker line. But the G pen just gives more variety. So yeah, that's the Commodore Pen. Now, this is the package that my Commodore Pen came in. As you can see, it's in Chinese, because I got it from Taiwan, and it's an AP brand. There's a new one there that I haven't used yet, but I might use soon. So yeah, moving on to the Commodore Pen. It's very, very, very tiny. Tinier than the Commodore or the G pen nib. And it looks like this. It's really, really pointy. Like, if you poke yourself with it, it kind of hurts actually. And it's really thin. And it's called the Commodore Pen, which means circle in Japanese, because it has a circular shape. If you look on the top, I just poked myself. If you look in the top, there's a circle. So it's a circle pen or Commodore Pen. And if I put it into my multi-purpose, super awesome, cool pen holder, it'll look like this. Stop rolling. Alright, there we go. It looks like this. And I think you can use it, well, you can use it for many things. It doesn't really matter what you use it on, but you can use it on like hair, facial features, eyebrows, stuff like that, or clothing lines, very thin stuff. You can see this stuff is really thin, really tiny, and it's good for very small details. So if you're drawing like a person from very far away, this is what you'll use. Yeah, that's the Commodore Pen. Now this is the package for my Commodore Pen. It's in Japanese because I ordered it online. And it's a Nico brand. So, yeah. And there's another unused one in there. I'll use them later, I guess. So now we'll be moving on to the ink. Now, if you don't have ink, that's a problem, because if you don't have ink, you can't ink the manga, obviously, and that's just common sense. So, I have two brands of ink, and one of them is the Japanese AP Art Pushing Manga ink that I got from Taiwan. And the other one is a brand that I first used, like the very first time I inked manga in Taiwan in my manga course, and it's this brand, Maxon Comic Ink. Yeah, it may not look that good, but surprisingly, like, it's really good. If like it's another AP brand too, so I ordered this online, but the one that I had from Taiwan, it was all in like Chinese and stuff. So like all this would be in Chinese. So this is the comic ink I use the most. I don't really use this that much, surprisingly. I didn't like it that much. But if you are going for like the more professional look, most professionals use like the Pilot ink. Like it has like a glass bottle like this, but it's like shaped like that, but it doesn't have like this curved, this like tilted cap and stuff. So the Pilot ink, I found it online on like eBay for like $4 or $5. I think I'll buy that later when this empties out. Like this is not even a year old. This is like 2 years old. I'm not even sure if this is good anymore. But yeah, so that's the ink I use. Who could forget the pencil? It really doesn't matter what pencil you use. I use a Bic, like 0.7 number 2 pencil. The standard ones. Like, it really doesn't matter what pencil you use. It really doesn't matter which erasers you use either, but I don't really like the pink ones because they kind of leave like pink, like a pink smear on my manuscript paper, so I prefer the white ones. The two erasers that I prefer, I mean, like I see everyone using like the mono ones. I don't have one of those yet. I think I might get one soon. The ones that I use, my favorite is the high polymer pencil eraser. It's not open yet, obviously. And my second favorite that I also use a lot is this Faber-Castell dust-free clean and soft eraser. Like it doesn't have a lot of dust when you erase, like standard erasers. It even says so. It says dust will not roll together. Excellent clean erasing. Extra soft for erasing most black lead pencils. Man, I sound like an advertiser. But yeah, these are the two erasers I use the most. Now, pens for bordering and panels and shading in blackness. There's many pens that I use for those kind of things, and the one I use the most frequently is this Copic Multiliner SP pen. It's 0.5 and it's perfect for borders and stuff. Like, this is the perfect pen. You know how most pens, their ink dries up and clots, and you have to like scribble a bit and then it will come back. Yeah, well, that has never happened with this pen. And I mean, this pen is 2 years old. I went to Taiwan like what, 2 years ago, and I got this there, and the ink still works perfectly. And if it runs out, I won't have to fear because I have a refill cartridge. I went there, bought stuff, and was prepared. So yeah, that's a good pen, and I mean it. Now next are my, you probably know of these, they're pretty common, Sakura Micron pens. I have many different sizes, but this one is special because it's a brush pen, and I'll be showing you another brush pen that's supposed to be used for stuff you do with brushes, but this is like a cheaper version of what I have. It's running out of ink, but I mean, like, it's okay. I only use it in dire emergencies. It has a pretty small tip, but it's like felt, so, or I don't know what it's made of. It's like felt, and yeah, you use that for brush strokes. And I'll for example here. See, that's a brush stroke, and that's what you use it for. Now the others are just micron pens. I have here an 08 size one. If I can get it open, you can see that's pretty fat. Here I have an 005. Now that's really tiny. This 005 is really tiny. If I can get it open, you probably can't even see the tip. Like, I can't see it on the camera. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's really tiny. And here we have another 08. Well, 08, my bad. And here we have an 05. It's smaller. It's about the same size as my Copic multi-liner one. So, yeah. So those are my Sakura pens that I use sometimes, but not as frequently as the Copic ones. And last, we have Prismacolor ones. Now, they're not as good as the Sakura or the Copic. They're nowhere near as good as Copic, but they're decent. They're decent. I like them. They're good enough for me. I say Premiere. Yeah. So I have an 08, I have an 01, that's pretty tiny, let's see, yeah. Shot it, yeah, that's pretty tiny, and an 005, well, you can imagine how small that is. So these are all like outlining pens and shading pens, and before when I mentioned the Sakura brush pen, well, there's a special brush pen that I use for shading in black. Like, this is one that I think most manga artists use, but this one I know Taite Kubo uses. I saw him in a video when I was watching a video on YouTube of him drawing a picture of Ichigo Kurosaki for the cover of Akamaru Jump, and I saw him using this pen. He demonstrated it all. And it's pretty awesome. So a couple weeks ago I got it because I was intrigued. I couldn't find it anywhere. And since I live in New Jersey, there's a place called Mitsuwa Marketplace. And there was a Japanese stationery store, and I was walking right past the shelf, and I saw this, and I was like, oh, crap, that's the pen I've been looking for like a year now. It was pretty expensive for a pen like this. I think it was $8. So, yeah. And if I can just demonstrate how you use it, I'll take a random piece of paper. The brush is much bigger and fatter than the Sakura one. And what you do to get the ink in is there's this red like ring in the middle. You have to remove that. Here it is. Here's that red ring that was in the middle of the pen. You just remove it, it pushes like the little blocker thing in the ink reservoir, and you squeeze the ink and it goes through here into the brush, and when you get the brush pen it's white, but when the ink seeps in it turns black. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's much thicker, much fatter. And I'll just write something. So that's the brush pen. Now if you look at Tite Kubo, Bleach, the author of Bleach's work, you can see he uses that a lot. Like here, I'll show you my super cool awesome wall of manga posters. Like here for instance, if you look really closely you can see there's like brush lines. It's not completely straight. You can see a little bit of brush lines here. He used this brush to color in this and everything. To color in the Shihakusho. He used it here too. So here too. So that's what you would be using this brush pen for. Now another thing that you'll need to have, but if you're like a beginner, you don't necessarily need to have this. Like I got this like 2 months ago, and I only got it because I realized that to get the really authentic professional manga look, you need to have what is called Screentone. Now Screentone comes in sheets like this and that, and what they're used for is patterns and designs for manga characters' clothes, or shading that you can't do with a pencil or anything like that. And if I can show you an example of where you need Screentone for, so like, hold on, let me pull over a Shonen Jump. Okay, here. This March 2010 book. I'm gonna turn it to a random page. Okay, see how it's all white around here, but here it's gray. Well, that's what you use the Screentone for. And if you look really closely, but you can't see it on the camera, it's composed of tiny little dots that make it gray. Here too. See how it's all gray here? That's Screentone. Renji's hair. So it comes in different patterns and designs. The ones that I pulled over here, like, alright, you know that element of shock in manga when they go, oh, and there's like shock? Well, that's what they use this for. This is just very light shading. I'm not sure if you can see, but it's composed of tiny little dots. Yeah, you can't see it. But I already started using this, so I cut out a couple pieces for it. Now this is just another effect. This isn't for shading, this is for like effect. This is kind of like a steamy effect. I'm not really sure what you would use this for. I'll find a way to use this. It kind of confuses me because I don't know what to use it for. And I have another one right here. I forgot to pull it out. I don't even know what this pattern is supposed to like represent. I used it for jeans on a girl I was sketching. So yeah. There's also a darker pattern, but I can't find it right now. So later in another video, I'll show you how to use Screentone in your drawings, but not right now. And what you need to cut the Screentone is any knife, any sharp knife. I prefer to use this X-Acto knife because, like in its name, it's exact and it's good. It's really pointy. I accidentally cut myself on it when I opened it up. Yeah, that kind of sucked, and it really hurts. So I use this X-Acto knife to cut the Screentone, and the Screentone is adhesive on the bottom. And what you do is you cut out your shape, paste it over the drawing, and you just chisel it down to what you want it to look like, and that's how you use the Screentone. Now the brand that I got the Screentone from isn't really the best brand, but I only got it because I didn't know how to use it that much, and it was pretty cheap, so I'm not sure if you guys know this company, but it's called Letraset. And it came with these patterns, which I kind of wanted and needed, so yeah, like, they're not that good. So since I know how to use them now, I'll be getting some deleter Screentones later. Another necessity for manga artists are what you call Copic Markers. These supplies are probably the most expensive manga supplies I've ever bought in my life. They're so expensive, but they're so good. Like, they blend in with each other so well. Okay, let's see. Artists use Copic markers to paint scenes like this. Well, not paint, but color scenes like this. You can tell that a marker was used for his hair and everything here. And here, look at how good that blends together. It's really good. It's kind of sexy. Just kidding. So, yeah, since they're so expensive, they're like $6.30 each. I only have like 25. So, here's one. This is Napoli Yellow Y19. And I have a lot more this bag right here. Yeah, altogether, probably more than like, I don't know, like $50 or something. So yeah, like I said before, if you're like a newbie to manga, you really don't need this right now, because manga artists basically use this for color pages, or when they have to draw a cover for Shonen Jump, for Weekly Shonen Jump. And yeah, rulers. Rulers. You must have them. I mean, like, I can't do straight lines for borders and panels without a ruler. It really doesn't matter what ruler you use for straight lines. Like, I just use this cheap plastic one. It's fine. This and this I use for curved lines. Like, if there's a big explosion, I'll use this for that. This, I don't even use that much, to be honest. This is a good ruler for making circles. I have two of them. Like, there's tiny circles here, and if you put your pencil in here, it's a compass. So if you can hold onto here, and it will turn, and you can just draw that circle. And how big the circle depends on where you put your pencil in any of these holes. So if you want a really big circle, put it here. If you want a really tiny one, put it here. And another ruler that's a must-need for manga artists is the French curve. This French curve is like the most common one. If you watch Bakuman, you'll know what it is, because you might have seen it a couple times. Really useful for curved lines like this, because if you try to draw them freehand, most likely when you're inking, it's not going to work out very well. I mean, I got these at Staples. They're pretty useful. They're just Draftman's rulers. And oh, and another thing I forgot to mention, like this ruler, I really screwed up on a couple of months, like a year ago. Since the ruler is like flat on the paper, you need to turn it over, make sure that no part of it is touching the paper, because if you're using ink, it will get on the edge of the ruler, and when you take it away, it will smudge it like crazy. So make sure none of like part of the ruler is not touching. I mean, like, I don't have to worry about it with this one. This one's made for drafting. It's Draftsman's ruler. I have 3 different ones. But yeah, that happened to me once, and I was really unhappy. because I did a really good page that actually met my satisfaction, and it smoothed, well, smudged all the ink all over the paper when I removed it, and yeah, I wasn't a happy camper. One last thing. The paper. Obviously, if you do not have paper, you can't draw. That's common sense. So, you could use regular scrap paper or printer paper that's blank for drawing, but when you actually start getting more into manga and you want to know how to draw, like, this is fine, this printer paper, plain paper is fine, but what you really need is manuscript paper. Now, plain paper like that is, I use it for practicing. I have a lot. I have like 500 sheets. It's good. But if you're going to be doing final drafts, sending in manuscripts for contests and stuff, you'll need manuscript paper. Now, hold on, let me go get it. I got these from Taiwan, again, in an art shop. It's an A4 AP comic paper, and I'm about to get some more later. But it comes with 40 sheets, and it has a pretty cool case. Basically, with the paper, it's useful because it has grid lines, and they tell you where to draw and everything. You can see here, it tells you the middle. The 0 is the middle, and it's good because it can give you really straight lines. So that's what it looks like. There's nothing really much to it. It's just manuscript paper, and that's all you'll need if you're a beginner. So that's all I have to show you for now. If I get new or more supplies later, I'll put up supply update videos. So until then, I'll see you later, guys. And this is the Mangaka 89.